podcast is brought to you by Cascade CPA, a local professional services firm supporting Madison businesses and nonprofits with their various back of office needs. The firm aims to provide high quality professional services and be true business partners to small and mid market employers. If you're interested in accounting and tax advisory, Cascade CPA is committed to serving Madison and the downtown community. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the DMI Downtown Happenings podcast. I'm Jason Ilstrup, president of Downtown Madison, Inc. And today we're going to talk all things public art in downtown and throughout the entire city. We are very fortunate to have our good friend Meri Ekberg from the city of Madison, who is doing amazing work with public art and everything that's happening about it. We want to see even more public art in the downtown. She's going to talk about some amazing projects. Meri Rose, how are you doing
Awesome.
today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Jason. It's always amazing to be able to chat about public art and all the work that we're doing and help contextualize what's happening in the city for everybody.
I mean, you all do amazing work in the city. It's just two of you in the city. There's just two of you in the county. There's not many folks that are working on it. So we are always so thankful for literally all of the different things that you're doing. We think, DMI, that public art adds significant vibrancy and vitality and economic strength to the downtown. We'd love to hear first about, how do you see public art impacting people's daily lives? Why should we be investing in public art? And what are some of the key projects that we're seeing here in the city of Madison right now?
Yeah, these are great questions. I'll share some visuals as I kind of run through all my responses. So I wanted to start with, why invest in this? So the city of Madison very early on determined that it was, very crucial to support the arts. And since 1974, the Madison Arts Commission has existed to support all things art in the city. So out including public art, but also poetry, music, dance, etc., and help emerging and established artists, create businesses in Madison and thrive here. So that's really the backbone to everything we do is the Madison Arts Commission's mission, and they are really in charge of leading the effort on all things public art and scoring proposals, etc., and providing all those recommendations to council. And the reason that we do so much public art in the city, it's really like it's tenfold. There's all of these reasons. So people constantly ask us, like, why this? Why is this important? How is this more important or as important as the other things that the city is working on? And here's just a list of some of the things that the public art can do and does for the city of Madison. So it gives us opportunities to celebrate the rich cultural heritage that we have here. It allows us to honor our local history. Many of the projects that we work on encourage artists to think critically about our environments and how the city is used and what it was historically and how it's changing and becoming what it is today. Creating more welcoming spaces, as you talked about, creating vitality within our downtown core is a huge part of this. Building an identity and a sense of place so that when you're here, Madison feels unique and it doesn't feel like just any other city. And public art can really help with that. We'll talk about some projects that encourage traffic calming and safety. That's one thing that public art does really well is draws attention and encourages people to stay present and focus and be, aware of the people around them and the space around them. It also invites cross-cultural dialogue. So we appreciate when pieces encourage people to start a discussion and think critically about something in our community that's happening and encourage people to come together around, public art and around art. It also can improve mental health. There was a huge study that just came out recently, I believe it was Kent University, that talked about how your cortisol levels are lowered when you experience art in person. It actually has a huge impact on our stress levels and our mental health to go to galleries and visit public art in person. It can also drive tourism and encourage people to come to a city and experience something. It can attract residents. If somebody's considering moving here for a job and they see that, that there's a beautiful public art program downtown and it feels welcoming and it feels safe, that can really encourage people to choose to come to Madison. And it also supports the creative economy. What we mean by that is really all things that go into public art. So not just the artists and the art businesses that get funded by public art, but the fabricators, the streets teams that help us install things, even the printing companies that help us with, our labels. And so we're really putting a lot of money back into the community through these projects. And we have a lot of different funding strategies and routes for acquiring public art at the city. And I wanted to mention these because if there's anybody out there who's listening to this who says, "Oh, hey, I'm in this world. How do I get public art in the city?" There's a couple of quick tools that we have. One is called our existing art database, where artists can submit any artwork that they already have that the Arts Commission will score. And if they get approved, they go into this database, and then we can use that art very quickly to do one of three things. We can buy the piece and place it someplace. We can loan it for a temporary exhibition, or we can license it. And licensing work we do a lot. So artists can really make a lot of money on a single piece. They can license that to multiple agencies or for different projects. We do that. That's how we produce our utility boxes, some of the art that I'll talk about for the public market. We have a social practice database, so artists out there who are working critically with communities can apply for that, and we will hire them to take on projects, working with our area plans. Or recently, we had a social practice team on Gilman Street. We also have more complex requests for qualifications. So those are our process is not like a construction bid necessarily. We're not asking for or an architectural bid. We want people to just tell us who they are and what they've done. And then we will hire them to develop a proposal specifically for the site that we're working on. We also have blink commissions, which are really important to downtown. Blink commissions are temporary public art projects that pop up in the public realm. So we encourage people to think of something fun and interesting and make the public stop and think for a second when they're out and about. And Thurber Park residency, which the photo here on the right is of our current Thurber Park artist in residence, Jennifer Bastian, who's doing a temporary public art project all over Darbo Worthington right now called The Sun Will Find Us. And this is actually part of a national biennial called Terrain with public art all over the nation. And the Thurber Park residency is a great opportunity for someone who wants to dive in and build their public art portfolio. It's a 1 to 2 year long residency with a studio in Thurber Park that the city pays for. And then sometimes we get art that's gifted to us occasionally as well, which is also always, can be great and also a challenge. And if you want to learn about any of these, cityofmadison.com/arts grants, that's how you find all of our calls for artists and opportunities.
Just to be
And so,
clear,
yeah,
I
yeah.
could gift you my art.
If there is something that you think the city should have, we
There's
have a
nothing of
gift
any value.
process. Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
of
Do we
any
have a process? And so the Arts Commission will, try to decide, does this fit in our portfolio? Is this something the city should have? Where are we going
Right.
to put it? Sometimes we do require funders to provide, and actually this is a great slide to talk about this on. Sometimes we ask donors to provide money for maintenance. And actually the piece here in this picture was just installed yesterday in the Madison Parks building, and this was donated to us by the Kohler Foundation via a
Wow,
family
cool.
called the
It's beautiful.
McCrimmons. Yeah, it's a huge mosaic from 1977, and this was just gifted to us thanks to the Kohler Foundation. They partnered with the owners to have it conserved, to have it installed, and they covered all those costs for us, which is amazing. So gifts is one way that we do, and we have a friends group that can facilitate donations and also apply for grants and foundations. But our main funding sources are the Municipal Art Fund, which is specifically for public art, meaning that it has to last at least 10 years or more. We have a Madison Arts Grants Program, which awards a little over $100,000 annually to organizations, and sometimes those are for temporary public art projects. We have a small amount of money that comes from the Room Tax Commission that also funds temporary public art projects, specifically in the downtown area through our Blink program. And then the percent for art ordinance is the big one. That's what's really allowing us to do large scale public art projects, the things that people might be driven to come to Madison to see. And this ordinance was enacted in 2017, but the first projects funded through this were really completed within the last couple of years. And I'll speak about Atwood Avenue in a moment. That's one. We also had the Village on Park parking garage has a percent for art project on it that was completed by the architect and artist Michael Ford. And the way the percent for art ordinance works is 1% of a project's capital budget for something that costs at least $5 million. So the total building cost has to be at least 5 million, and then 1% of that budget will go to fund public art. And the budget is also only for city dollars. So a great example of this is the Bartolon shelter is funded by the city, by the county. It also had federal dollars. Only 1% of the city's dollars will go towards the percent for art project. But that's allowing us to get bigger and bigger projects in the city, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and we're seeing some of those downtown. I know you're going to get to the project, one of the biggest
Yeah.
projects that's downtown, the Lake Street ramp, but it's important, right? That's also part of a private
Yeah,
development as
that was
well,
an
right? So it's
interesting
just the
one.
city, but what you're going to be doing with Hawthorne Court is fantastic. So can't wait to see
Yeah.
that in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of projects that are very collaborative, as you pointed out, where we are working with occasionally private developers as well, and trying to make sure that whatever public art is going in there is very responsive to the community. So we spend a lot of time doing community meetings and engagement work for these pieces to make sure that everybody's involved. So yeah, so let's run through some fun examples. So this is Greeting Arches 1 and 2 by Sung Hee Min. This is on South Pinckney Street. You can see in the photo on the left, this was actually the artist installing the work right before Embassy Suites was completed. And this was a piece that came to us actually through the Monona Terraces Art on the Rooftop exhibition, which happens every year. And the Arts Commission is in charge of reviewing proposals for that and selecting the art. And they selected this piece. It was displayed, I think, back in 2023 or 2022 or 2023, and then we acquired them permanently for the city of Madison. So sometimes we will source pieces through calls that we do, and we say, "Hey, this is great. We have this perfect opportunity. This was a great traffic calming site. So the goal is to try to create this median, draw attention to the fact that there's a median there by putting these sculptures in, and try to help make the pedestrian crossing more safe." And it just happened to work out absolutely amazing where they match the architecture of these buildings perfectly. So, and they're actually representations of the lake. So, the this interior silver part is the light reflecting off the water. So you can see the larger Lake Mendota on the left on the Mendota side, and then the smaller Lake Monona on the right. So that's what these reference. So anyways, another fun downtown project that we had. So we do this frequently. This is an example. We acquired artwork from the existing art call. Somebody submitted these absolutely gorgeous paintings, mixed media works. They submitted photos of them, and then we recreated them in vinyl and put them on the doors surrounding the new parklet that's behind the Madison Senior Center, between the Senior Center and Cap Center Market, to create a more vibrant space, make it feel more welcoming, and not just have these drab industrial steel slab doors there. This was just installed this summer. This is Mother and Child by Detroit-based artist Austin Brantley. And this was a multi-year project where the artist came to Madison. He did 2 residencies at Madison College teaching his craft. He's a completely self-taught sculptor. He works in clay and then casts his pieces in bronze. And he collaborated with the community, especially the Darboe Mothers Council, and was really inspired by his experience in Madison to create this piece honoring the relationship between a mother and child. And this is installed just off of East Washington, so it's visible right along the bike path and along the road there. And another work going back to downtown, this was just completed just recently. This is called Rainbow Over Zebra Mountain. This is also a work that was originally sourced through our existing art call, and then the team that worked on this transformed the design from the artist Bernie and Zuzu into a street design to encourage traffic calming. So again, this helps drivers pay attention to where pedestrians may be, see those curbs and see those spaces, and just be more aware as they're driving. This is right on Dayton Street. And then another recent completed project on West Gilman Street. This project came out of a study that was done by the city and community partners called Safe Growth that really analyzed how people were experiencing West Gilman Street and some of the challenges that were going on, especially on the 400 block of West Gilman Street. And some of the recommendations that came out of that plan included public art as a tool to make the space feel more welcoming, to make it not feel as much like what some people described as an alley. And so we installed some permanent public art projects there, and then also did a social practice collaboration with the artist Spatula and Barcode, who spent the entire summer hanging out on the street in parking stalls, talking to people, surveying, handing out granola bars, connecting with the community and thinking critically about what was going on the street. They produced a newsletter, uh, 5 newsletters, I believe, about their experience on Gilman Street. And then we also acquired a series of dragonfly lights, which you can see on the left there, called Dragons Fly by an artist, Michael Young. These may be familiar to people who go to Gleam every year because these were at the Gleam exhibition at Olbrich last year, not the one that just completed. We installed 6 of those along the light posts all the way up and down Gilman Street. Again, make the space feel more welcoming, draw attention to it, encourage people to use the street and move through the street. And then we installed another piece sourced from the existing art call called Number 59 Space Blob, which was actually an accordion book that the artist submitted that we photographed in high resolution and then reproduced in vinyl on aluminum panel and installed it on the backside of Portobello, which the entire facade looks like these covered up windows. It's actually walls that their kitchen is on the other side of, but it made the facade feel very unwelcoming. So this really creates, some vibrancy there.
It's just an amazing project. I want
Yeah.
to say a big thanks. As DMI was a longtime partner of the Isthmus Safety
Yeah.
Initiative, which was a big part of this project.
Yes. Some safety
I
initiative.
can't thank you, Karen, and the whole team enough for this amazing artwork happening right in the center of downtown. That is, not only providing art and beauty, but also helping with some of the safety issues and challenges that are happening in the area. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you so much for for your team being a part of this process and supporting it because it was a very fast program. There were a lot of complex issues to try to get this off the ground. And we turned this entire program around in from planning all the way to implementation, I think in less than 3 months. But yeah, it's great. And oh, and I forgot to mention on the right here, we have the historic banners that Spatula and Barcode also did. So in addition to spending all this time on the street engaging with people and also hosting a very fun night at the last Madison night market where they had tables all the way up and down Gilman Street to encourage people to hang out and talk, which was cool. They created these amazing historic banners which show images of what the street used to look like and to try to encourage people to think about like this is a place that's been here for a long time. This is a place that has history and culture. It's not just an alleyway. It's a real street with a vibrant history that we should acknowledge. So you guys have probably seen these all over the city. We have a huge utility box program, and we do this through acquiring artwork through our existing art call again. We wrap these in vinyl, and that way we don't have artists out there, painting the boxes. We want to make this quick and easy, license work from them that already exists. And then if they get damaged or if they get replaced, we can easily replace the vinyl wrap very quickly. We have, I'm not exactly sure how many, but well over 100 of these out in the community and growing. And here's just some beautiful examples that are in downtown. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff that we've completed recently. We're going to jump into some of our big projects that are in process right now. So I'm sure hopefully everybody listening to this is aware that the Madison Public Market is coming. It is happening. It is on the corner of East Johnson Street and First Street. And we have been working on this project. I've been working on it as long as I've been here. I think Karin has been working on it for at least 10 years or more, probably longer. There's a very large public art program that's going into this building. We have at least 13 artworks planned that might go up as we continue to, acquire funding and private donations for this. This project triggered a relatively small amount of percent for art dollars for something like this, only I believe $56,000, which for a public market, you want a lot of art, and that is not a lot of money. So the vast majority of the funding going into this is all privately raised, which is very impressive. And so we just completed a few projects on the outside that people can start enjoying right on the corner of First and East Johnson. We have Eliza Leonard by Tom Jones, and this is a photograph that then had beadwork done onto the photograph, and then that work was redocumented. And this is by a very prominent Ho Chunk photographer who's based here in Madison. This piece was exhibited in a Smithsonian portrait exhibition and actually won second prize. So it's very impressive, and we're very lucky that we got to license this piece and blow it up and make it absolutely huge and put it on the building. In the center, we have 2 works that were a collaboration by Isis Macias and Rodrigo Carapia, who are also Madison-based artists. These pieces were sourced through our existing art call again, so a great way for us to get work quickly and then pay artists for those work quickly. These are also high-resolution photographs of original pieces that were blown up in aluminum and vinyl on aluminum panel. And then on the right-hand side, we have And Still She Blossoms, which is a really great piece that I'm so excited we were able to honor and put on the building. This was originally done for the 2020 State Street mural project, and this was installed on the backside of Overture, actually, right at the top of Henry Street. And we have the original piece in storage, and we were able to create high resolution photos of it and recreate it and blow it up and put it on the outside of the building so that people can continue to enjoy this gorgeous work. So these are just a few of the pieces. We have a lot more that are going in inside, and then another very large mural that's going to be on the outside of the building right at the main entrances. So yeah, this is a big one. I'm excited for this to actually be done because there's a lot going on. Okay, we're also actively working on the Imagination Center at Rindell Park, which is the first library to be built in a park system in Madison. It's a very exciting collaboration between the Parks Department and the Madison library system. And we have 4 finalists working on the Percent for Art project for this site. They're all currently designing a piece, and here's just some examples of their past work. We have the team of Cook Sasseville, which is out of Quebec City, Canada. Nate Page, who's currently based in LA, but used to be in Milwaukee. Gabriella Marvan, Flor Molina, and Ryan Rothweiler, who are based in Viroqua. And Sujin Kim, who's based in Brooklyn. So we have a great, collaboration of artists here that are working on developing proposals, and we're very excited to see what's going to happen. They will share these proposals with the community in early next year, and we'll make sure that there's lots of surveying so people can share their opinion and get some amazing art at this site. And then our sort of largest, and I would say in some ways, the piece that might have the biggest impact of what's upcoming for us is the State Street Campus Garage. This is to date the largest budget we've had for public art in the city, and those are growing. We have a few projects that might break that number coming up, but this one is centered in the downtown core, extremely visible, and is going to have a huge, huge impact on how I think our residents, our visitors, how students, how downtown businesses all experience that area. So we have 3 finalists for this project: Matthew Mazzata, Jason Klimoski, who's actually originally from Madison, which is very cool. He went to high school here and his family still lives here, and Eric Carlson, who is who are all East Coast based currently, and they're all producing designs for this site, and then we'll select from them. They're going to be coming to Madison on November 14th. We're going to be having a community meeting at the Chazen Museum from 5:30 to 6:45 so that people can meet them and hear about their work. And this resulting piece is going to stretch through Hawthorne Court and then into the regional bus station, which is going to be in the ground floor of the public parking garage. So that we hope we have something that is large and vibrant and exciting. Part of the call for art really specified that this needs to engage light in some way. So we're looking for something that either casts light out or draws natural light through, and something that is also beautiful during the day and at night. So we want it to encourage people to, move through Hawthorne Court. It's a prominent quick pedestrian route between State Street and University. So we really need this to feel safe, welcoming, and vibrant. And I'm really excited to see what these artists are going to think up. They have done absolutely massive projects and have a lot of great experience that they can bring to Madison for this. So, okay, here's a bunch of other fun stuff we're doing that I just do not have time to get through everything. But we have I did want to note this amazing collaboration with the Dejope Community History Project, which we're working on a series of public art projects that are going to be all over the city celebrating significant Dejope sites. And those will be coming out next year. So watch for that. We're working on a piece for the Bartolon Men's Shelter right now. The design just got approved for that. It's going to be a mosaic on the front of the building. We're also working on a piece for the Metro Transit Maintenance Facility on East Washington. We are supporting the work of the Madison Lakeway Ad Hoc Public Art Committee, who are going to be selecting public art for the phase 1 of the Madison Lakeway project in coordination with the redevelopment of John Nolan Drive. And we're also going to have works for the bus rapid transit stations and a new Far West operations facility, which we have a team working, actually coordinating with the architects for that. So it's very cool. They're on the design team and are producing public art as part of the architect team, which is great. So lots of stuff happening. And we're really excited. I mean, the city is going to just blow up with public art in the next few years.
I mean, I love it. I'm very inspired by everything that's happening. So much of it in the downtown. It is so important to the economic strength, vitality, inclusiveness, the diversity of downtown. We cannot thank you and the entire team enough. I mean, it's literally just two of you doing all of this work. Of course, the commissioners
Yeah.
as well, but we're
Mhm.
so thankful. Question that I want to make sure to get answered is, how can local residents, our members, get involved in either supporting or taking part in this work to really make sure that you have more resources to do even more in public art?
That's a fantastic question. So we highly encourage people to uh, submit public comment, join our Arts Commission meetings. If you're interested in actually joining the commission, definitely, if you have arts experience and you feel like, it's something that you can commit to, we are looking for commissioners. And pay attention to our website. And also if you go to cityofmadison.com/arts and you go to the bottom, there's an email list button. You can sign up for the Madison Arts updates, and we will share information about community meetings that you can join, workshops that artists are hosting. There's so much happening all the time that we're trying to get the word out about. It can be a challenge, but always, watch for our press releases as well, and because there's so many different ways that the community can help give us feedback and help lead what ends up in the city.
Well, this is inspiring beyond belief, but I want to know what inspires you, Mary Rose. We're going to ask our fast and furious 5 questions. Are you ready?
I'm
Whatever
ready.
top of your
Comes to
mind
mind.
comes out. All right,
Okay,
ready to go?
I'm ready.
Now, this is kind of like asking who your favorite kid is, but what is your
Okay.
favorite piece of public art in downtown Madison?
Oh man, yeah, that is really tough. Okay, I'm gonna say Sung Hee Min's pieces on South Pinckney Street because I think that they work so perfectly in that setting. And I love the story behind the work that it really is about our lakes. Some people might look at that and think, wow, that's just, that's a modernist sculpture and it's very simple. But if you read about the background between the piece and realize that it's really inspired by our lakes and the beauty of the water reflecting off the pieces. And Sung Hee Min is a Minnesota-based artist, absolutely amazing to work with. And it's also it shows the beautiful collaboration that we have with our other city partners and being able to work with Monona Terrace to produce this exhibition and then acquire a piece from that and bring it downtown. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful example of the work that we do.
Well, in such a highly visible spot, right next to the Embassy Suites Hotel, Novu, with all of the
Yeah.
things that are happening on Pinckney Street now, 109 and the new 109 Social, all these things, Tempest and Osteria that are happening.
Yeah. And I walk
That's a
by
good
it
one.
constantly to go get coffee whenever I'm at work. So
All right,
yeah.
then. You just asked the next favorite question. What's your favorite coffee shop downtown? That's the second
Oh,
question.
okay. It's Ancora because the staff there are absolutely amazing. I will admit I am not a coffee snob. So I think I love their coffee. I think it's amazing. I love the space in there. I bump into you there all the time
I
because I love that
I thought that was
atrium.
going to be the answer.
I
Yes.
love that atrium. But I will also give a shout out to Wonder State. I think it's beautiful in there. And I love popping up there when I have time, but Ancora is my spot. Yeah.
Uh, Admittedly, I am currently addicted to the cinnamon roll, so don't tell my doctor at Encore. It's so good. But the staff is amazing, right? Michaela and Sam and Eliza and Jen, the whole team, they are the best. What is your favorite downtown festival?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a complicated question. I am going to say Make Music Madison because I do a lot of work to support that project, and I think it's very, very
You
important.
are part of the team.
I
Yes.
am.
Yes.
And I also just think it's really fun because businesses that never host music on that day. And they get this opportunity to collaborate with musicians and support them and build relationships. And that's really led to some great opportunities where businesses that had never really ever thought about hosting music before started hosting music because they got to trial it on Make Music Day. And that's very important to us because I think one thing the city is very eager to do is build opportunities for musicians downtown regularly, even outside of our festivals. So yeah.
It's a great look. As someone that used to run a business that worked with the team for Make Music Madison, it really is an amazing experience. I really can recommend it more. I mean, it opens up your doors to new people coming in, to new art. You're supporting the arts. We always really enjoyed it. Is the downtown spot where you get your most artistic inspiration from?
Central Library. I love Central Library. The public art program in there is amazing that Trent and Karin did prior to my time here. And It's a beautiful space, and the people that work there are also very amazing. And yeah, we're so incredibly fortunate to have that library.
What is the one word that describes the creative spirit of downtown Madison?
Vibrant.
I like it. That's a word I use all the time. Mary Rose Ekberg, the city of Madison, thank you so much for all you do for public art. You really do add so much vibrancy, economic strength, equity, inclusion, everything, you name it, into the downtown. It is absolutely a better place to live, work, and visit thanks to your work. Thank you to the entire team that you work with, Karin, and everybody else. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for joining us in our Downtown Happenings podcast today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Jason.
Thank you all for your support of downtown. Hopefully, we see you downtown soon. Have a wonderful day. And thank you very
Bye.
much. Talk to you soon.